Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going fantastic and your weekend is off to a great start. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today I get to share 2 projects with you, and we're going to be using some brand new arrivals over at the Spellbinders shop. They are part of the Stylish Script Collection. I have 3 different sets here. There's more to the collection, and I'll link the entire collection down below. But the 3 sets that I'm using here, well, the first one is the Happy Birthday and Thank You collection. Glimmer plate set. The second one is the For You Glimmer hot foil plate set, and then the third one is the More Than Chocolate Glimmer hot foil plate. Super pretty fonts, guys. A couple of months ago, Spellbinders had came out with some beautiful fonts in a Glimmer kit of the month, and that's what these reminded me of. So if you're a fan of those, you're gonna love these. I'm going to make 2 cards using 2 of the sets, the For You and then the Thank You and Happy Birthday set. But the More Than Chocolate, it was super cute, and I wanted to show you what it looks like foiled. That way you can see the font. So I have my Glimmer machine heating up. I'm going to bring in some foils that I have in my stash. I said this before that I love the copper foil because it looks like chocolate. It's like a real rich brown, at least to me, and so that's what we're going to use to foil the I Love You More Than Chocolate. And then for the Thank You and Happy Birthday, I'm just using some pink foil. But here's the beautiful font. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. And then next is the I Love You More Than Chocolate, and you can see how rich the color of this is. Looks real brown, like chocolate. Okay, so those are 2 of the sets that I'm sharing with you today, and then we have one more set that we're going to foil, and to do that I'm going to foil with my blush foil. It's super pretty. So we'll put these on here, trim down some of the blush foil, and do some foiling for this. I'm going to be using the Thank You, and then also the oh my gosh, it's such a pretty sentiment, and I need more of these cards. I really do. It says, "I'm here for you today and always." Isn't that so pretty? Love sending cards like that. But I'm going to foil these on some white cardstock. When I do the foiling, these are nice because the sentiments are already foiled, and if you just have a little drawer full, you can add them to your card projects. For my background, I'm going to be using 2 dies, 2 of the largest dies, and one of the brand new Elegant Twist rectangle die sets. I love this set. The detail on here is so pretty, and you don't have to do much to a card when you create a background with this. I'm going to die cut 2 of the same. This has the twist border around the edge, and I think it's so pretty. So these are ready to go. Here's the font on these, and this one here says, "I'm here for you today and always," and I made a mess of this. I didn't foil that very good. We're going to do a redo on that one. And then this one says, "Today celebrate you," and I'm going to use my eraser to remove some of the excess foiling. I kind of went a little crazy with this one, but isn't that font pretty? Now I'm just going to trim down another piece of the blush foil because this is not erasing, and my machine's still hot. So I'm just going to trim down a smaller piece, and we're going to do a redo. I'm just going to use the same cardstock that I foiled, the reverse side of it, and I'm not even going to press the timer because my plate was already heated up. I'm just going to remove it from the docking station and run it through the die cut machine. And it foiled beautifully this time, and you can see here the pretty font. Isn't that gorgeous? I love sentiments like this. So those are the 3 Glimmer plate sets that I have, and I wanted to share with you. So now let's make a card. We're going to turn off the machine, and actually we're going to keep it on. We're going to set it aside. We're going to create our background and foil on top of our background, so the machine's going to stay on. And if you guys are new and want to know more about Glimmer hot foil system, I'll leave a link at the end of the video, and it'll take you directly to the unboxing that I shared with you guys when I first got it. Okay. Now we're going to work on our background, and I'm going to be using a stamp set. This stamp set is the Layering Roses stamp set from Spellbinders, and if you guys are looking for an easy peasy, beautiful layering stamp set that's very inexpensive, you're going to love this. Okay, I think it was $5.99, and you can sometimes get them on sale. At least this stamp set on sale for less than that. All you have to do is use 3 different colors of ink, light, medium, dark, to stamp your flowers. Here I'm using my bubblegum ink. You want to use your lightest ink for your base, which is your most solid image. Next you'll take your second layer. It's a 3-layer rose. I'm going to use my second ink, which is my mid-tone ink, and I'm using Watermelon Fusion. We'll just add that to our block. Now I decided to bring in some Versamark ink because with these stamps, I don't think these are photopolymer, but I did find that the first layer kind of beat it up a little bit on me. So if you add Versamark, it really helps with the solid imaging since these are such a big size stamp. So no worries. Next we're going to take our third ink and our third image. Third ink should be your darkest, and I'm going to be using Sweet Berry. And we're just going to ink up our third layer and stamp that right over the top. Super easy to line up too, guys. And I think that rose is gorgeous. So 3 different ink colors, you can create a beautiful flower. In this stamp set, it looks like there's a lot to it, but it's just 1 rose and then 1 2-leaf image. We're going to stamp that next. So we're going to grab our 3 shades of green ink. I'm going to start off with my lightest ink, which is Sweet Pear. We'll ink up our first solid leaf image with Versamark, then stamp it with the Sweet Pear. And I found that if you do use the Versamark ink, it does help a lot. So I stamped that. Next we're going to go in with Lemongrass. I'll take my second layer. Now when I did this, I think I took the third layer instead of the second layer, but it worked out fine. But excuse me, I had a little tickle in my throat. But the second layer I think is a more solid layer, and I should have used that with my lemongrass, but it turned out nice and I just went with it. So I'm going to take my third layer, which I think is the second layer, and use my darkest ink, which is green olive, and we'll stamp that, and it worked out good. So pretty. So that's my rose, and that's all I'm going to do on that panel. I centered it in the middle, so all we have to do is glimmer our sentiment on here. For my next panel, we're going to use different shades of orange inks, and I think this one was my favorite. We're going to do the same exact thing. So I'm going to take my first rose image, and I'm going to ink it up with my Versamark, and then I'm going to use my lightest shade of orange ink. This time we're going to use Citrus Cooler, and I want to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it in the top left corner, kind of twisting a little bit, and then I'm going to ink it up one more time and stamp on the bottom right corner. We're going to flip it upside down. You can kind of see a V on the base of the rose, and that's where you're going to put your leaf. So you can kind of judge where your leaf's going to go, which I like about that too. Makes it easier for stamping. Next we're going to take our second layer and our medium tone ink. I'm using Orange Creamsicle. We'll stamp this right on top. Flip it around, stamp the bottom one. And I love the way this turned out. Normally the layering stamps kind of intimidate me. If you are if you've been with me for a while on my channel here, you'll know that layering stamps, I don't do them very often, but this one was so easy. I loved playing with this one. Okay, and I'll link it down below, guys. But isn't that a gorgeous rose? It looks so real and has so much depth with these 3 colors. My third layer I used Pumpkin Bread ink. Now for my leaves, I'm going to use the same exact greens that I used for my first panel, and do all 3 layers the same way. So we're going to kind of skip through that, but I am going to spread the leaves out throughout my background. I'm kind of overlapping on that beautiful decorative edge too, kind of stamping on top of that. And then we'll just do our second layer and our third layer, and I love the way this turned out. I think it's going to go beautiful with my foiled sentiments. Okay, next I have the sentiments that I want to use. Wasn't sure where I should put the thank you, but I'm thinking we're going to put the thank you with the pink rose, and then with the other card that says I'm here for you today and always, we'll use that with our orange roses here. Kind of lining them up where I want them. Now I'm going to do something different for these because I'm glimmering on my printed panel. I'm going to use my tape here. This is electric tape. It's like a post-it note tape. I'm going to tack it down directly to my panel, just on an edge where I can flip it up. Once that's tacked down, I'm going to trim out my foil. I'm going to use a small piece of the copper for my orange panel here, and I'm placing it face up, and then I'm making sure all of the areas of my sentiment are underneath that foil here. We'll scoot it down a bit, and that's good to go. And then for my thank you card, my pink rose, we're going to use the pink foil. I think this is going to go really well with the thank you. Now, I don't do too many of these cards, but I just love the outcome. It wasn't bulky at all. If you didn't add foam adhesive, they would be a nice little gift set. But we're going to bring back in the Glimmer machine and do some foiling. It's ready to go, so we'll just carefully flip this over, and I'm going to add my plate sandwich here, set the timer, and then we'll run this through the Platinum 6, and then we'll see how this turns out. But this is just going to be basically a 1-layer card, which I don't do very many of. But after you remove the release paper, I love the way this turned out. I think it turned out, oh my gosh, I looked at it and I thought, I just made a Hallmark card. It's so pretty. We're going to do the same thing to our next card with that beautiful sentiment. Just build our sandwich. And I realized that I didn't have my timer going. So while my timer or my Glimmer machine needs to heat up, I'm going to use my sand eraser and just sand off the excess foiling that I had. I had a little bit on my rose. And then I went ahead and foiled this panel, which is gorgeous. I love this. So those are the panels that we're going to do, the 1-layer panels. I think they look fabulous. I'm going to go ahead and remove a little bit of the excess foiling here with my sand eraser, and then we're going to flip these panels over, and I have some fun foam. I have lots of fun foam that are that I can find coordinating colors for. So I picked out a pink fun foam and then a yellow one. I use adhesive backed fun foam, so I just add adhesive to one side, and then the other one all I have to do is just remove and stick. So we'll add these coordinating colors to our coordinating panels, and then we're going to bring in 2 card bases. They're standard A2 size card bases. They're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And then I'm going to remove my release paper and add them to my cards. These are pretty simple, guys, but I think they are just stunning. I think they're just gorgeous and super easy to do. And again, if you guys are interested in the Glimmer Hot Foil system, I'll leave a link at the end of the video. Such a neat foiling system. Last but not least, I'm going to use some gems that kind of coordinate with the flower colors. The gems that I'm using happen to be from leftover from a card kit. I tried to find them at the Spellbinders shop and I couldn't link them. I don't think they have any more. They didn't sell them outside the card kit. But any kind of gems that you have would work. Just coordinate them with your roses. I think it'd be fabulous. Just added a few. And then that's my project today, using the Stylish Script Collection, a few of the items in it. But such a beautiful font. You're going to love it. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I wish you a lovely day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.